Hello, Stacey.
Hello, Darren.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for popping on today. So for those of you that don't know, this is Stacey Laverne with Sinders Bridal, one of my favorite places.
It's a lot of girls' favorite places.
I know. Like, it's just such a pretty place to visit. Like, if nothing else, I have no intention on buying a wedding dress, but the shoes.
It never gets old, right? Like that. I think that whole concept of it just never gets old. Like, yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's like a fairy tale when you go in. You can just dream, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So Stacey owns Sinders Bridal with her sister and her mother, and you guys have owned it for how long?
We've now Sinders itself for 7 years. So I have been here since I was 16, and I'm not telling you how many years that is. So
I know. You don't have to say that.
He knows how long it is. A really, really long time.
Yeah.
But no, we've actually owned Sinders itself for 7 years now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go off script a little bit here. So Stacey owns Sinders, but what you don't know about her is she's also an extremely empowered, inspiring woman. And she has a fantastic social media. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you have to, because
yes, you do.
Yeah, no, like that is this whole purpose of this interview is to get people to follow you. Your Instagram's incredible. I mean,
Thank you.
So many nights that I'm just like, check this girl out. Like, you're just so inspiring, and I love the message that you're giving to people, and you're empowering them. And I just think it's so important every day, but especially during this time when people struggle with mental health and all the different things that are going on. So Stacey's been an absolute incredible person to watch and follow, and I just love her so much. So I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. I love that introduction. I keep that and play it to myself every morning.
Yeah, no, totally. You absolutely should. I mean, it's incredible to be able to inspire people, but you do such a good job in being so vulnerable and honest and raw. And I just love it, because I mean, I'm sure you see so many things in your industry with women that, like that body shaming video that you did was just like, holy God.
We're so hard on ourselves, and I watch it every day. Almost everyone that comes in the building says something like so bad about her body, and from an outside point of view, we're not looking at that, but I know how she feels, because I do the same thing when I get up in the morning and get dressed and look at myself, and I'm like, oh, like it's, I mean, you can go to the whole video and see the whole thing, but it's true. And I think being vulnerable is super important. And I mean, I've only learned that like past couple of years, that it is important for people to stand up, because then others can stand up. That helps.
Yes, it's extremely freeing. And just to see the comments even on the video was like, whoa.
Blew my mind when I did the first one, the first sort of shout out about mental health and that kind of thing. I hadn't really dabbled into that, because I figured I'm a business of wedding gowns. I don't, you don't push the borders, you just do weddings. And then when I sort of went, no, this is bigger than that. Like, this is so much more. And being in the forefront, the limelight of everything, of the business, and just being a woman in business, I think you can be so much more than just a wedding dress shop. Like, I think it's also my job is to help women as well, not just to feel beautiful on that one day, but to feel beautiful every day.
I love that. I love so many things about that. And it's absolutely true, because we just, we have this box, like this idea of where we think we have to be and where we have to operate in. And I know I've struggled with that too. And like, when you really are listening to your heart and what you want to do and how you want to speak to people, it maybe isn't the message that people are expecting, but often it's the message people want to hear. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's crazy how many followers we have, who aren't even getting married, or who have been already married for years. And still stick with us, just because the content is not just, here, I'm selling you a wedding gown. It's not like that at all. I don't think. I mean, I'm not laughing because of that, but the personality that you have on your social media, like it's impossible not to become addicted. Like, when you're following you, because you're just like, you show and she's so funny. Like, but she's like the person. Just so you know, I also know Stacey on a personal level, but she's actually, and I'm even funnier.
She's even funnier. Well, I don't want to say you censor, but you're definitely more intentional about kind of what you're saying, but in person, she's the same person. Like, she's very authentic. And I think that's super important this day and age, because
that's so important. And that's, because you know what it is, we're so flooded with so much fakeness. And I mean, actually I was going to do a whole thing this morning, because we had a photo shoot here this morning, and so I said to the girls, I'm like, I needed to put my face on, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to show you guys this filter that I saw last night on Instagram. I'm like, this is insane. No wonder we have massive mental issues. So I go over to the filter and I take a picture of myself with this filter on. I got an eye lift, a cheek lift. I got like Botox in my lips. I'm like, this is craziness. If this is what I'm supposed to look like, that's nuts. Like, if that's what we're showing other people, like, and other women, like, you take a photo of that and put it on. Like, imagine if I did that every day and that was my filter that I used. And then you came in the shop and saw me and I look nothing like that. Are you going to trust me then to be like, let me help you find a gown because I'm being truthful and honest?
Right. That's a really good point. And actually, a friend of mine and I were having the same conversation. She's like, I don't see why people use these filters, because then you meet them and you're like, who are you?
You're catfishing. Like, no, just no. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, there's nothing wrong with me. I mean, there's things that I do wrong, but I think that's only because we've been bashed mentally for years of like, women shouldn't age ever, you know, like, I'm damn lucky that I made it to this age. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Well, and there's such a good story that comes with everything. And I think focusing more on the story versus how it looks is so crucial. Like, the message it really has to change. I mean, I didn't think we were going to get this deep this early.
Sorry.
Fully jumping.
You know what I was doing? I listened to way too many podcasts. I'm a massive like Ed Milet freak, and I listened to, so this morning I was up making my outfit for our show that our photo shoot we were doing this morning. So I was doing the dress at 5:30 this morning. So I was like, oh, throw a podcast on. So I listened to Ed Milet this morning, but that is like so massively touching and important. And then I'm like, I wish I could relay that kind of message, like they relay that message, but almost like, for me, it's to a lot of women, because the majority of our followers are women for what we do. I mean, I think we have like a 5% following of men. And I think most of them are like my husband and my kids and like my dad, you know, like it's probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that though, because I think that's the really cool thing about listening to those types of podcasts and reading the books and things like that. Like, you're able to shift it into a voice that resonates more with your audience, right? Like, it maybe is the same message, but you're putting your spin on it. And in a lot of cases that just, it changes it for some people. Like, if I'm listening to a podcast from somebody who's, you know, who I have an association with, whether it's negative or positive or whatever, then that does affect the message a little bit for you, right? You kind of put it through that filter. And so I think you have a great filter, you know, you're able to translate things in a way for people that makes it relatable, because you're a mom, because you're a successful business owner, because you're super close with your family, but you're also like, you're sharing your struggles. And that's the key, is I think so many people just don't share their struggles. They're like, well, yeah, my life is perfect. It's so great.
I wouldn't be where I am without my struggles. Like, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have and I think you need the struggles in order to make the things that are good, make them that much better, because you're like, look at where I was, look at where I am now. Like, and I did this, right? Like, I got myself here out of that shit, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So like, I think that's important, but also like, for me, I, a lot of the time use that pain from the struggles to get myself to that other point where I, like, a lot of people use the pain and they're like, woe is me, where I'm like, no, I don't want pity. I'm going to take that, turn it into fire. And then I'm going to be like, look what I can do with it. Use it. Totally use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's awesome. I love that. I love everything about that. I don't want to get off this topic, but I feel
like.
Sorry. No,
totally not what we were supposed to be talking about today.
Like, yeah. So, okay. Like, let's pivot.
I don't even know how I got in that conversation. These are my general conversations, and you know it, where I'm let's talk about rabbits.
This is going to be fun. I knew it was going to be fun. I knew we were going to hit all kinds of stuff. So, but let's just cover the basics. So you're in Carleton Place, and your business reach is everywhere, though. I know we were just having this conversation over the phone and kind of other markets and everything else, but where would you say your market mostly is coming from?
I mean, majority Ottawa. Yeah. Ottawa, the surrounding area is majority where the market is. Like, so Ottawa Valley down to the Seaway, Then we also still though pull from Montreal, we pull from Toronto, obviously not lately, nobody's traveling anywhere. But majority is like Ottawa and the surrounding areas, like all the small, yeah. I mean, because it's a destination thing, right? To go get your dress. It's not like you're just going to go next door and get your dress. You're like, I'm going to make a day of it. We're going to go and we're going to sit in a patio and have some drinks, and we're going to, you know, like, it's a big deal, right? Because it's an event. So people will drive.
Yeah. And I love how when you go into your place, it's an experience too, right? It's not just like,
we don't do just buy the gown at all. Like we are start to finish, from like to a point where you come in the door, we treat you like family all the way through, to even a point where like I go to a lot of weddings to get the brides dressed, no matter where. I've been flown to Calgary. I've gone to Montreal a bunch of times, been to Toronto. I've been, last one I think was Merrickville, Kingston, like you name it.
That's so awesome that you do that. I remember when you started offering that service, and I was thinking in my mind, because a lot of that falls on the people that are in the wedding party, or, you know, whatever.
They don't know a lot of the time how to do things up. Like we will obviously show them when they come in, this is how you do it with the button, and make sure you do it with the hook in the eye, and make sure you do this and this. But there's so many things that you have to remember. You're like, did you remember the cupcakes? Did you remember this? Did you call somebody? Like, the bridesmaids and party members have to be so involved on everything. Are you going to remember the little stuff that I told you about getting her dressed?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's just an extra little bit of help, especially if you don't have like a wedding planner, because a lot of times the wedding planner might know how to do a bustle, might know how to get you dressed. You know, I think it's just that important of a thing to help. And actually, it's really funny now. We've been called more often for that service for this year, next year, because weddings are going a little bit smaller, and everybody's like, well, what is important on my wedding? What do I want? And the last wedding that I went to, I actually went because there was only one bridesmaid. She said the rest couldn't, they had to fly in, someone from the States, so they couldn't come. So she says, I need somebody to come and help me. So come and help me. And it was great. I stayed at a party with them afterwards. It was fantastic. Yeah, so much fun. Like most of the time you end up befriending these people. Like, and I just spoke to the mom the other day, and like, it's not like this is my job. This is what I do. I'm a people person. I mean, you know that, like, I love people, and I can't see enough people, meet enough people. Like, so I really enjoy that part of the job, because it's meeting new friends and new contacts, and you don't ever really stop talking to them, which is kind of neat.
Well, and you think it's very similar. I mean, I've always not compared, but you're around people during, like, we've had these conversations before, but when you're involved in such a huge part of their life, like for us, when they're buying and selling their house, it's huge. Right. And so
it's huge. That is a massive thing.
Bonds with people when you're in the trenches with them, in that high stress scenario, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, and you're hearing stuff and seeing stuff, and they're just like, this is insane. So it's an incredible honor, right? And you form a bond with them, and you stay in touch.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. It is. We always call it a privilege. Like, we're so privileged to do what we do, and like to be able to walk through your wedding journey, because that's such a big thing for a lot of women that have been waiting forever, and then they get to do it, and we're part of it. Like, that's huge.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, so great. So Carleton Place, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, I know things have changed within COVID space and all that. But what do you love the most about Carleton Place? Like, if you're hanging out with the kids and Chris, and what are you guys doing in Carleton Place?
What are we doing? Oh, okay. At the moment, the kids are kayaking freaks. So for us, it works out really well. We're really close to the water. And so the kids will actually carry their kayaks down the street, down to the river, and go for a kayak.
Like now?
No, right now, no. Good gracious. Well, they probably would if I let them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was like, are you letting them? Like, is that happening? I haven't seen that yet. But
don't worry, Mom, we'll put our wetsuits on. It's fine. We got this. No, like, and they would too, but no. Right now, what are we doing? Actually, you know what? Skiing. Yeah. We've been skiing like crazy, just because they want to get out of the house, because they're stuck in there all the time. So we've been doing a lot of skiing, which is great, because I mean, Pakenham's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's so close.
It's so perfect.
So close. It's so nice. And it's even nice, like, we're all going to drop the kids off, and like, I'll be working. The kids are done school at 2. So I'll run home, take them up to the ski, but I don't go back and get them until supper time.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's really nice that we're actually so close to so many amenities, really. Like I'm 20 minutes to Ottawa downtown to get something. Like everything's super close, which is nice. But what I like, I think the most about Carleton Place is it still feels small town. Like people are still nice. Like I've grown up here. I've been, we've been here a long time. So it doesn't feel much different now than it did when we were younger. Like people, if I say hello to somebody on the street, they say hello back.
I know.
Like,
so, I mean, even just sitting on a patio, right? When it's beautiful out. I mean, both times we've been out on a patio recently, like Logan's walked down the street and been like, hey,
right?
Mom. Like, what?
Hey, Mom. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to a friend's house. I'm like, okay, well, have fun. Like, I'm not worried where you're going, what you're doing, what's happening. I mean, and the town has exploded. I mean, you know this, obviously. Like the town's exploded with people. It's just crazy, but it still feels small town. And people are still genuinely nice. Like I had somebody again buy my coffee for me in the lineup at Tim's.
Love it.
Like I love it. Like that totally makes your morning. Whoever does that, I love you, because that makes my morning. Like it's just like, it's stupid. It's a little cup of coffee, but you're like,
little things. You know what? It really is the little things, because we're dealing with so many heavy things right now.
Yeah.
Like so many. I mean,
so many heavy things
are struggling, and people are struggling, and the kids, I mean, the poor kids, the stuff that yeah. So a coffee, I mean, you got to hang on to that. When that stuff comes, it's like, woo!
Well, that's it.
Yeah. You know, it's so great. And just to be able to like connect with people in a small way, I think makes a huge difference. So kudos to whoever that was that did that. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk a little bit more about your company and Sinders specifically. So I know the answer to this, but what would you say that the clients love the most about your business? I mean,
that's hard, right? I mean, I called Meg on this one because I was like, I don't know. What do people say? Like, it's because it's hard to step outside of your business. But I think that we treat everybody like family. Yeah. I think we're welcoming. You come in the door. Yeah.
You guys are what they love the most, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, there's no difference. What you see right now is when you come in that door, or if you come to my house,
I know.
This is what you're getting. I mean, if you're at my house, mind you, I look a lot, the hair's a little messed. Yeah. I got no makeup on.
More natural.
Like I'm wearing one of Chris's shirts. I mean,
chill. It's a chill vibe.
Chilling.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so what do you think one of the biggest challenges that you guys are experiencing? I mean, obviously COVID is part of it, but what are you finding is the biggest challenge?
Oh, I don't know. COVID's been crazy and it's been weird and it's twisted the business in so many crazy ways, but like some really good ways. Like, I don't know. I mean, you know me, I'm a workaholic. Like I am a devout workaholic, and I've never actually stopped. All my kids to work with me when they were little, like they all just got stuck in a backpack, and we keep going and you keep doing. And so
you had Logan when I came in shopping for my dress, and he was in the backpack, and I was like, hey, like you can chill, man. Like you don't have to, you're like, no, it's good. It's awesome.
Got this. Don't worry.
Like the Energizer Bunny. Like she just keeps going. No joke.
And yeah, totally. Like but with COVID, I actually got time off. That's kind of what we called it. And I've never been able to spend that much time with the kids or that much time at home. And so it was kind of nice to actually be like, oh, this is what it's like. Okay. Like, I mean, I never stopped the social media. I ramped up the social media more just because people needed something to hang on to, something to believe in, something like you got to see pretty things every day. And so there was we dropped down about half staff now. Which in a way has actually been kind of nice. We do a lot less appointments, but we're doing better in the end. Totally. Like my team is doing better, mentally, physically. We're not as worn out about anything. Like that has been a good thing coming from COVID, I guess. I think it's good. Yeah. So
I love
don't even know.
And you were talking about the busyness, and I'm sure we've had this conversation before, but I find that there's this like epidemic in the world. Before COVID hit, I think people are way more on board now with a differing opinion, but initially it was this busyness, like that was our currency.
It was totally a big thing. You like had to be busy. If you weren't busy, you weren't like making money, you weren't doing anything good. You had to be busy. And now I'm like,
why? But why? And where did that come from? And when can we stop it? Because I'm telling you, I feel the exact same as you. COVID has been such a huge blessing. I know that we are in a very fortunate position. The housing market has had huge growth, obviously, but never mind that. I feel like we're one of the lucky people that we haven't really had a huge impact because of COVID in terms of health, and it's serious, and I get that. But I think there's been so much that's happened as self-reflection and just trying to say, okay, what do I want to move forward in my life now with that I can leave behind that I maybe wouldn't have before.
Exactly. Totally agree.
Yeah. And it's really created a lot of space for really fun things. And I mean, just like even you said with the skiing and stuff like that, like we've been doing more stuff this year than we just would have been. Like, I mean, we didn't go on vacation, right? So we're like, what the heck?
What do we do? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You got to think, especially as a parent, right? Because your kids are like, they're at you. They want to do stuff.
Oh, they're constant. Like even ours are teenagers. And I mean, do you remember being a teenager and your parent was like, well, you want to sit down and have supper? And you're like, no, I'm going to my room.
Imagine during COVID, being a teenager during COVID. Oh
my gosh. No. Well, and it's funny. Ours are like, what do you guys want to do tonight? Where are you going? What are you guys up to? And we're like, oh my gosh, what?
You're fun though. You're fun parents.
Kills me. I'm like, can you not just be a normal teenager and not talk to me? And they're like, yeah, whatever, mom, whatever.
That would be weird. You're so close with your kids. So this is again really off script, but I think it's important because you've been through a lot of stuff in your life, and I know that it's been an incredible journey for you. But what would be your advice in trying to maintain a good relationship with your kids? Because clearly you're doing a good job of it. So what do you think?
Communication.
Yeah. So in
100% communication, and honesty. I think as a kid, our family didn't talk about stuff. Like you talked a little bit, but then that was it. Okay, we're good, under the rug, whatever. And now for me, I think that was something that I was missing and I didn't realize that. And now also letting my kids be kids. Like my kids rollerblade in the house on my hardwood floors. I'm not
been to your house.
Yeah, he's going to kill me when she sees me next. They play soccer in my house. Like, like stuff goes, like things get broken. Like I've had BB guns. How
are your floors?
Oh, don't ask how my floors are. Don't ask me. We don't keep anything good in the house until the kids move out. I have like nothing, like something's always broken. We're always like, right. But I'm like,
they're living.
I'm living. I'm like, if I died tomorrow, like, am I going to be upset that my kid broke a vase? Right. Like, I'm not going to, it's more important that my kid was like, I played soccer in the house when we were, remember like when the kids start talking about, remember that time, Gav, we did this? And like, remember the time I threw the nectarine through the window and it smashed? Oh my God, that was so funny. Like they talk about, I have stories of kids. Like I have the most insane children, but I think also I just let them be kids. Like, and it is funny. Like, do I want to replace that window? No, but was it that was an old farmhouse. It was an old little pane of window that I can replace. Yeah. And I learned how to do something. I guess you could look at it as that. I learned how to replace panes and windows. They were just being kids. And now it's a story that they tell all the time. And anytime they tell it, it's funny. And anybody who listens to it is like, what? Like, what? But I'm like, they're kids.
I love that. I think that's great advice. Yeah.
So, I mean, but I think for me, communicating with them and like being like, okay, we're not going to do that again. Like when your brother got you that mad that you had to throw the nectarine at him, was that a great idea? No. Right. Okay. But also just communicating in hard stuff too. Like the boys were also like, their dad passed away. You know all this. Their dad passed away and they were really young. And so it was really important for me to be like, I'm sad today. I'm not sad today. You know why I'm not? And like, explain why. You know why I'm not sad? Like, because of this. Or like, there's just, I think it's really important because they're human. You can't shield them from everything, even though we'd like to as parents. Like, oh, let me tell you, I want to hold on to them so tight. Like, I don't want them to get out of their rooms or go outside ever or go see friends anymore. Cause I'm like, then you won't get sick if I keep you hidden in there. But it doesn't, life doesn't work that way.
You know, what's really interesting is that it's like a full circle conversation. Cause at the very beginning of this interview, we were talking about resistance and how it has contributed to so much of your message and your successes and just who you are as a person. And I think naturally, like, and not, I mean, obviously we're talking, you know, sliding scale here, but in terms of like protecting our children and helicopter parenting, I'm starting to realize, I mean, I'm still learning so much about parenting. My kids are still pretty young. And I feel like letting them learn the consequences on their own is pretty crucial.
Huge. And it's hard as a parent.
I mean, it really is hard.
One of the worst things is to watch them fail. But I'm like, but I have to let you, or else you're never going to understand.
You're never going to learn. And it's so true because and so much of that teaching them just feels like nagging sometimes, right? Like last night, my kids are out and, you know, it was like -18 last night and they were out till after dark. They came in and I was sure they had frostbite on their face. Like, I was like, it's cold outside. Like, do you want a neck warmer? No, Mom, we're good.
We're fine.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Let me know how that works out. And then my youngest came in, Parker, and he's talking and it looked like his lips were like, I'm like, buddy, I really think your face is frozen. But his face was just numb from the cold. But honestly, we did that when we were kids, right?
Oh my gosh. You remember that where your fingers are so frozen? Like frozen. And I think, and every parent is so different too in the way the kids need to be. Like Gavin is much more subdued and quiet and he thinks about things. I mean, he's a bit better now. Like he hated being embarrassed and stuff. And so you never, Mom, don't Mom, you're so, he used to say to me, you're so cringy, Mom, don't you cringy? And I'm like, I'm what?
His voice, he's got the cutest voice. Oh,
that's so funny. But then Logan, who's my middle son, would be like all over. He's like, oh, you want to go dance in the street, Mom? Let's do this. We got this. Like, and every kid's so different.
So different.
But how you parent them has to be a little bit different too, in a way. But you also have to understand that's how he is, and and it's okay for him to be like that. I mean, I'm your parent, and I want you to be a certain way, but that's only because that's who I am.
That's a you thing.
It's totally a you thing, right? It's not the them thing. So you have to look at it that way too, right?
Oh, 100%. I totally agree with you. Yeah, that's a great way to think of it. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to get off this topic, but there's something I have to talk to you about.
Okay.
Your shoes.
I didn't even bring a pair in.
No, it's okay. I will talk all about them so you don't even have to. So I posted this actually before, and I'm just here to tell you that these are the best shoes ever because they have they're Tanya Heath shoes from Paris. Yep. And Stacey started to carry them at Sinders. What was it, like about 8 months ago, just before COVID hit? Yeah,
just before COVID hit, of course. We picked up this shoe line and it's phenomenal. So she is actually originally from Ottawa, the woman who makes these shoes.
Yeah,
she moved to Paris, met her husband, and they're still there. So these shoes are actually made in Paris, and they're fantastic. Okay, I have a pair on.
Oh yeah, love it. Look at that. Look at those shoes.
I'm gonna take these off. But these things are fantastic because they do this. So like you cannot wear it as a flat. It's just not that kind of shoe. But all of these are interchangeable. Like all of the heels you can change in and out. So like you can have like a really simple black.
Yeah.
Just to go with this. Like if you're going to work.
I love those shoes. I need those ones specifically, Stace.
Aren't these? I love these. Are Anusha's, and these are my faves. I actually wear these almost every day just because they're easy. They're black. They're simple. Like it's.
So the ones I've just decided the ones that I bought when I first bought them, that's not really enough anymore. Like I can't wear them all the time, and that's what I want to do is wear them all the time because they're just so cool. Like you can change them up with your outfit, with your mood.
Yeah.
Like when
totally.
The weather, because I don't want to wear them in the snow, obviously. You can't wear those in the snow though, can you? Or
I don't. No. I'm a freak about that. I'm like, no, they're inside shoes only. Yeah. Like just could you? Yeah, totally. I mean, they don't have a great grip on the bottom of them by any means.
And I would fall on my face, but
yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
So
no, but
you sell these at Sinders, and just so you know, we did actually a contest. We ran a contest, and one of your brides won, right? Is that
yes.
what it was? Yeah. And we'll have to do another one in the spring, because I think the spring shoe game is going to be totally changed this year. People are just going to be going all out in their shoes, and they're going to stop in and they're going to shop at Sinders. So
yes,
check out Instagram, because I know you share a lot on that, but they also have their Instagram page is Tanya Heath.
Yeah, Tanya Heath Canada is their Instagram page. So, or our Instagram page. I see there. It's mine. I run it too. But yeah, they're fantastic, and they're comfortable, really. Like, and the nice thing is that the heel can go small. Like, you can go from like 1.5 inch heel up to like a 3.5 inch heel on the same shoe.
Yeah.
So
I think that's so great. I mean, just the versatility alone, because sometimes it's hard to find, to be honest, it's hard to find a pair of shoes that's comfortable enough to wear all the time. So
yeah, especially like a pair of shoes that you need to wear like back from like the pub down a hill. I'd be happy if we could have changed out, the heel at that point at, 1 a.m. Right. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. It's so great. So what else? Is there anything else that I didn't cover about your business or yourself, or anything that you want to talk about? I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff.
We talked about a lot.
No, which I love. Like, we've been talking for like 45 minutes. I feel like it's been 10.
Well, isn't that what it feels like every time we get together and chat?
It is.
Yeah.
And now
I think I did pretty decent staying on topic, which normally I'm not. I'm normally like a squirrel. Yeah. So I think I did all right.
Yes, you did, but you did fantastic. This is great. Okay, well, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your time. I know it's super valuable. I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes, you will.
Okay.